All right. Thank you very much, Lindsay. Fantastic stuff. Hey, you know what? Sometimes parenting can just become plain old frustrating, and it's okay to say that. It's okay to go there. It's okay to admit that. Well, today we do have some help. Joy Berry is an educator, child development specialist, and an author, and she's here today to answer some questions from our viewers from her Facebook page. And Joy, first of all, thank you very much for being here
Oh,
with
it's
us
great being here.
today. You are an amazing author. You've written many, many books. One in particular, I'm going to hold up here.
Yeah.
It's all about divorce, and it helps kids
Hmm.
understand that divorce is a very common thing these
Yeah,
days. I've
exactly.
been there, and it's very hard for children to go through it, to
Yeah.
understand it, as well as it is for the parents. And of course, the kids need to be first and foremost in everybody's minds.
Absolutely. And that is one of 250 books that I've written for children from birth up to tweens. And they're self-help books. They speak directly to the children about things that they encounter in their everyday lives.
Well, we're going to answer some questions from Joy's
Great.
webpage. This is from Jennifer Tomberlin, and she asks, "How old is old enough to really understand and be affected by timeout?" Meaning, when your kid is misbehaving. What are some tips on doing timeout effectively?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, timeout is probably most appropriate for children who are like in preschool and kindergarten. And what you want to make sure and do with a timeout is do not make it last very long because their span of attentions are very small. But the idea is to get them away from whatever is causing the misbehavior, give them a chance to think about what they've done wrong, and give them a chance to think about what would be a more appropriate behavior.
Mhm.
And once they can verbalize those things and apologize for the bad behavior, then of course they can get up and leave.
Okay, very good. All right, let's go to Stephanie Dollins. Stephanie asks, Joy, how do you react when kids blurt out inappropriate statements in public? That's always fun.
Well, listen, the most important thing with socializing children is that you allow the process to happen very normally and naturally. So if a child says something that's rude to another person, an adult especially, it's okay to say to that adult if it's your child, "How did that make you feel when she
Hmm.
told you that?"
Hmm.
And let that person react and respond honestly to your child so that your child can really get what's going on. So, let it happen. Let
Hmm.
let let them suffer the consequences of their faux pas in public.
I love what Dr. Phil once said to his child when he smarted off to his wife. He turned around, they were in the car, and he said, "Don't you ever talk to my wife that way again." And that just shut the kid up
That was a very
completely.
good
I don't know which kid it
response.
was, but I
Yeah,
thought that was pretty interesting.
that was a good response.
Okay, Alyssa Viscomi asks how to get kids out of mommy's bed without thinking it's a punishment.
The most important thing in all of these things is to be very honest with children. Just be forthright and honest and explain to the child that you need to get your rest.
Hmm.
And you can probably rest better when you're not sharing the bed with the child, and you can
Hmm.
be a better parent.
Hmm.
And then in that way you can, ease them out of your bed. Just be straight, you
In
know.
general, not a good idea to share a bed with your child, is it?
Well, every family has to decide for themselves what is appropriate.
Hmm.
Because, only when we as parents parent in our own style can we be consistent. And that's the most important thing. And there are some people who sleep together, all the time,
Right.
and it just depends on what the family chooses, really.
All right. Well, Joy Berry, thank you very much for being with us. We hope you'll join us again sometime.
I'd
You're very
love to.
insightful. If you want more information about Joy, you can go to daytimeonline.tv or follow us on Twitter. Our address is twitter.com/daytime TV show. Coming up, Sam Hallenbeck has the latest list of new DVDs that are out. What's good, what's not so good, and what just plain stinks? Well, Sam has the answers. That's next.